Welcome back to another review. I have a slightly older model in today, but evidently it's still for sale. It's the R40 Seeker from Olight, and this was sent to me for review, so I thought I'd do a video. Not exactly 100% sure why it was sent to me, because this came out about 3 years ago, but still I proceed as I normally do, having a look over the body. Looks very similar to the R50, except we have that plastic button. We also have quite a lot of grooves on the head to act as a heat sink. On the top, stainless steel bezel. This doesn't have the signature blue tint that the Olight's recent ones that have been released have. On the bottom we have the flap cover on the micro USB port. It's pretty much the same as the R50. In fact, the overall design is very similar, apart from that switch difference, using a Cree XM-L2 with quite a deep reflector, and it's also smooth. Thought we'd have a look at the packaging. You can see we have 1100 lumens, range of around 280 meters, and on the sides gives you 3 power levels. Notice the candela rating too. It's fairly high, indicating we're going to get a bit of range out of this torch as opposed to a flood effect. And on the back just covers some of the basics. Do get the battery included with this and the charging cable. Charging cable is coming up now. It gets the Velcro strap with it, and it's about 1 meter in length, pretty similar to the other ones that I've looked at from Olight that have the cable, and you have the 2 spare O-rings. There is a charger with this one. This is the UK version, 3-pin, and it has an output of 1 amp. You can see the USB on the bottom and the LED to let you know when the power is on. We have a more basic hand strap compared to the newer Olights. Quick look over the user manual. This just takes you through the operation. You do have a lockout on this torch, which is pretty important because that side switch could get activated. So it just takes you through the operation, which is basically dead simple anyway, particularly as you only got 3 power levels and a strobe mode. This is onto the specs. You have 3 stages on the power levels, right down to 12 lumens. So the lowest mode is actually quite low on this one. It takes a 26650, and we have the output chart here versus the runtime. Don't see these very often, but we can see from this you're going to get about 20 minutes at the highest level, and that's a significant improvement over the 18650 torches. It's physically larger, so that's something which is could be worth looking at in more detail. Now we have the contacts on the base cap, and the reason for that is because the cell is a customized one, so you have the positive and negative terminals at the same point. That allows the base charging, the micro USB port there. Taking the cell out, it's rated to 4000 milliamps an hour. There are higher capacity ones with the customized Olights for the newer torches, and you have a spring at the top. Notice there's also a bit of a fabric cushion on the side to prevent the battery from moving around, and you can also use other 26650 batteries with the torch if you wish. Onto the operation, single press on and off, dead simple, and push and hold, then release to change the mode levels, the power levels, and then simply push it again to turn it off. Can't really go wrong with that. It's about as easy as it gets. If you push and hold, you'll go into the lockout mode. And once you see that, you'll see the red LED come on underneath the power button, just to let you know that you can't activate it. To start it off again, just push and hold and you can operate normally. Double press takes you into the strobe. So pretty simple torch. The newer torches tend to have an extra power level. Some of them have different strobe modes as well from different makers. Also fairly stable base stand. Comparing it to the R20, which I also reviewed recently, you see they're both smooth reflectors and both pretty deep. That extra physical size allows for the bigger battery, and the head is also substantially larger. The R20 doesn't have a particularly long runtime at its top power setting. When you plug it into charge, you'll see the red LED glow. That goes to green when it's completed. The charging rate I got was about 0.83 to 0.86 at most, and the battery took just under 4200 milliamps an hour. I can't do my normal test for this because the cell cannot be used in a normal charger. The contacts positive and negative will get in the way. My quick underwater test, and it also shows you the low battery indicator flashing. Now a range of about 90 to 100 foot We're on to the low up to the medium level. There's quite a big jump between the two. That would be something which might annoy me a little bit. And then you click up again to the highest output level. Slightly warm tint on this. There's plenty of power though. It's pretty comparable to other torches that I've looked at. And I've gone from the R40 at the highest level to the R20 at the highest level. Should be able to see that the R20 actually has a bit more power right in the middle bit, but it also has a bit more spread as well. It's just a different shape reflector. Onto the wide angle test, we've gone from the low up to the medium. Again, you can see there is a pretty big jump on that. And then up to the top power setting. The beam output on this is pretty good. It is quite warm compared to the standard Olights that I've used before. This isn't specified in different colour tints. And we're onto the beam shot, fairly close, about 3 foot away. So you get quite a wide spread in that central hotspot. And onto my telephoto test. There isn't really much to separate this torch from the other torches that I've looked at. This one is designed more for range. You can see the hotspot here. Hotspot's not as small as the R20, which has a bit more range, hence the higher candela rating. From a practical point, using both torches, you wouldn't be unhappy with either of them. You wouldn't really be able to tell much difference between the range on them either. We've gone from the low up to the medium again, so that fairly big jump. And then we go up to the top setting. So definitely up close I'd be using the lower mode myself. This is on the beam shot for the roof. Again, decent range off this, no problems at all. And that's exactly as you'd expect. I also shined at a few houses on the roofs, and they're a good distance away, so you can easily see longer, further distance subjects with this torch. Now, up close with the lower power level, rated about 12, and it seems pretty close to other torches that I've got, around about the 10, 11 lumens mark. And it's pretty good for that. That's an advantage over the R50 possibly, because that had the lowest mode was 50 lumens, which is considerably brighter. You tend to find with the higher power torches, that model is 2500 lumens, that up close they have a much higher rating for the lowest mode. So just a quick look at the strobe, fairly standard. And back in the low again. I'd use this quite a bit just for general purpose. If you're fairly close to something, you don't need too much light, and it works pretty well for that. You can see my hand in the frame, it doesn't blow it out too much. Wrapping up now with some thoughts on the R40. This is pretty hard torch to review properly because it came out a while ago, but it's still for sale. So it really depends on what you are looking for. I'm just showing you the glow ring on the screen there. Compared to the R50, that has quite a bit more power. It's up to 2500 lumens, a higher capacity battery. You have that extra power mode, but the beam patterns are completely different between these two torches. The R50 is very much a flood effect torch, whereas this one has a bit more range. It's more concentrated in the middle, so they're completely different in that regard. So is it worth buying? Possibly if you can find it at the right price, or you see it going for a deal. There are a couple of advantages that it has on this model over the 18650s, and that is it can hold its top power level for longer than most, purely because of the head design is quite a bit larger. So over a 20-minute period it will gradually ramp down to around about 600 lumens. The 18650s tend to ramp down a lot quicker, so that might be something worth considering, even if it doesn't have that big headline grabbing lumens figure. Downsides potentially would be the custom battery. It means you can't charge it in a normal charger due to the contact points, and also we have higher capacity batteries available for the 26650s, but you can use your own battery with this too, just not charge it in the torch. So let me know what you think of the torch, if maybe you bought one a while ago, and how did you get on with it? What did you think about it? So leave a comment and tell me how that stacked up for you, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video.